So, Tom, break down for our viewers what happened this morning in Russia.
Just an amazing day in space. And yeah, the people in Russia got a very rude awakening this morning on the way to work. This explosion of this meteor happened right over their place up here. You can see it on the top of the globe up there. And this was a really big, explosive event. This meteor came streaking into the atmosphere and hit there. Let's talk about the size of this thing, because this is fascinating to think about. It was about 10 tons, only about 10 feet across. This isn't very big. But it was going 33,000 miles an hour. That's why it exploded. When these things come out of space, they have gases in them, things like that. As they heat up in that superheated friction of our atmosphere, they blow apart. And that's what happened with this. Actually, about 30 miles above the Earth, that's how strong that shock wave was. And look at the damage. You mentioned some of it there a minute ago. 1,000 people injured, 270 buildings damaged. This is not linked, however, not linked in any way to 2012 DA14. I keep having trouble with that name because that was the asteroid we were talking about all day. Let me give you some reference points on this because this is important. We always think about the Earth as being close to the moon. That's how we talk about it. Here's the Earth, here's the moon over here, and it's close. But it's not really close to the moon. The moon is actually about 250,000 miles away from the Earth. What is close to the Earth? Well, satellites are close to the Earth. We have them at all different levels. The furthest ones out are about 22,000 miles away from us. And this asteroid we're talking about came streaking past the southern hemisphere and cut partially through that very group. If you look at the Earth over here and you look at our satellite, or the passage of this asteroid, you can see that it cut about 17,000 miles away, but within that belt of satellites out there. So it really was pretty close in those terms. Now, it wasn't a big threat, though, because pretty close is pretty far away in space terms, or at least in Earth terms, and it wasn't really that big. When you think about it, this thing was only about 50 yards long. It was traveling about 18,000 miles an hour. That's a big deal. And if it had hit Earth, it would have exploded with the force of more than 2 million tons of dynamite. But there was no real chance that it was ever going to do that. Still, scientists were watching it awfully closely, Kate.